Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Today we are making crack in a jar, aka Nutella, aka hazelnut spread. Really excited to share this recipe with you all. I had a lot of fun making this one. I think you're gonna love it. Nutella is one of my favorite things that I no longer buy because I've been gaining a lot of weight and I need to cut down on my Nutella intake. But you know, who of us hasn't come home from a shitty job with a shitty boss and just eaten like half a jar of Nutella while you cry yourself to sleep while watching The Devil Wears Prada, okay? I have on more than one occasion probably, but that's neither here nor there. So this, if you can make this at home, this is gonna make your evenings a lot better. In any case, let's get started with this recipe. I will just know that you do need hazelnuts for this recipe, right? You can't substitute that with another nut. That would be nuts. What you want to do is have roasted hazelnuts. So buy them roasted off your local Amazon.com if you got one of those. If you don't have Amazon.com, which means you probably don't have internet, which means you're probably not watching me right now. So disregard everything I just said. Go to Amazon, get the roasted hazelnuts. If you can't get them roasted, find raw ones. You can roast them yourself, 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 15 minutes. Just take off the shell. That's it. You only need 2 cups, so not that much. They are expensive. I don't know why they cost so much, but probably because they're so amazing and probably because Nutella buys all of them, most likely. In any case, let's get started with our recipe. Let's go over our ingredient list really quickly here. So we have 2 cups of roasted hazelnuts, skin removed. You can buy these directly off of your local Amazon.com, or you can buy them raw and then roast them yourself. Either one works. If you're gonna roast them, you want to do that at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes and let them cool down. But since I bought these roasted already and skinned, we're just gonna use 2 cups of that as is. We want to pair that with a nice walnut oil here. So we have about 2 teaspoons of walnut oil. You could just use another neutral oil such as avocado oil or peanut oil. That's going to work really well and complement this. Next we have our dark chocolate. So we have 3 ounces of dark chocolate. I have it sitting here in a hot water bath, so it's helping melt the chocolate, but it's also helping keep it melted so that it's ready for us when we start blending everything together. And then we have about 1/4 cup of cocoa powder here and 1 vanilla bean pod. Now, if you don't have vanilla bean pod, you can simply use vanilla extract, and that's going to be about 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract is equal to 1 vanilla pod. If you want to up that, you can go to 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract, and that's going to give you a much stronger vanilla punch. And then finally we have confectioner's sugar. That's just standard powdered sugar. And we're going to want to use some sea salt here as well. I don't have it up on here, but we'll add it in the end. And of course my little helper here is just a prop, so you don't need that to make this recipe. Now the first step here is going to be processing your nuts. Get that into the blender here. So what we're looking for with hazelnuts is that they need to become the consistency of corn grits, right? So when we pulse this down, they need to be really nice and smooth texture. So we're gonna do that for a little bit, and let's see. Let's check on these. So you can see how those are coming down now. I'm gonna pulse them a little longer because I want that. These are pretty coarse still, I think. Let's check on them once more. Okay, so I think this is fine. Next, we want to add our walnut oil into the bowl and our melted chocolate. You can see how nicely that's melted, and I've literally just put it into this hot water, and it's just melts all on its own, and it smells amazing. Actually, oh my god. This is really tempting to just eat it out of this jar here, but I do have to use it in the recipe here. Pulse this for a little bit to combine. Open it back up again. You want to scrape down these sides just to make sure nothing is sticking to the sides. Alright, so that's what we got. Next, what we want to do is add in our vanilla pod, cocoa powder, and our sugar. We're gonna cover this and process once again to combine, and we're gonna keep pulsing this until we get to the point where it turns into a butter paste. Keep opening it up and keep checking on it and stirring it. What I'm gonna do, I think this is too much for my processor. I'm gonna take out half of this and do it in batches. Yeah, so this is getting much better consistency now, and it's getting a lot more buttery, as you can tell. So I would say it's worthwhile to do this in batches. As you can see, it's looking beautiful. Now what I'm doing here at the end is adding a little bit more of the walnut oil. That's helping create, I feel like it's a little too dry, the way the recipe is. So from my personal preference, I'd like it to be more liquidy to remind me more of Nutella. So I'm adding a little bit more. There we have it. Okay, so here we are with our Nutella. Now, before we get further, if you've gotten this far, you're getting some value out of this channel, so hit the thumbs up button on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, please. Leave me a comment, give me some feedback. Let me know if you're not liking certain things, if you are liking other things, if you want to see more of something else, let me know. So here we have our jarred Nutella, or hazelnut spread. Probably cannot use the word Nutella without some copyright police coming after me, and there's plenty of them on the internet for some reason. They're like the grammar Nazis, you know. Same. I think it's the same people. In any case, so let's give this a try. Clearly, I've been testing it out with like the other half of the croissant. It's really good. Few things to note. One, I altered the recipe. I found that when I blended all the ingredients, they were really dry. Too dry for my liking. You might like it that way. I don't. One of the biggest pet peeves for me with almond butter is I always feel like it's a little bit too dry. And I feel like I'm just putting sand on my bread. So what you can do to remedy that is I ended up adding a little bit more walnut oil into here, just 2 or 3 tablespoons more. Actually, I don't think it was that much. I think 1 or 2 is more like it. So just add a little bit more to make it more liquid. I also didn't find it to be sweet enough for me. I have a sweet tooth. I have a big problem with sweets. Luckily, my doctor doesn't watch this channel and doesn't watch my videos, so no big deal. Not an issue for me. But if it is an issue for you, if you want to leave it at the amount of sugar that I've stated in the recipe, you can do that. I ended up adding another 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar into here and blending it further. I also ended up adding another teaspoon of vanilla. I found that even with the vanilla bean in there, I still wanted to have more vanilla flavor in there. So I would recommend adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract, or maybe just don't even use the vanilla bean and just use 1 or 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract to begin with. That's also gonna make your final mass a lot more liquidy, which is great because that's what you want. So I don't know if the camera can capture this, but you can see that it's moving, which is exactly how it reminds me of Nutella. So that's what I want. I want it to be sweet, I want it to be addictive, and I want it to be good. What else? Work in batches. That's something I really learned out of this recipe. Don't put everything together. I know it will fit in the processor. I mean, obviously, if you got a larger food processor than I do, then you can put it all together, but mine is small. Separating it out into 2 halves really made the process a lot better and a lot smoother and gave me exactly the texture that I want. Chunk it up, you know, do it in thirds or do it in halves if you have to. I think that's gonna be a lot better. If you got one of those large food processors, then just throw it all in there. I think it's gonna be able to handle it really well. Oh yeah, and one other note before you go. If you like your peanut butters chunky, if you like your girls and guys chunky like I do, then you might want to break up some of your leftover hazelnuts, toss them in here, blend them in. Really delicious like that. I loved it. So I would definitely recommend you try that if you're a chunky guy, chunky girl. I don't know. There's no way to save this joke, but yeah. Anyways, thank you for sticking around. Thanks for watching my videos and for being a fan. I hope to see you again in another one. Hasta luego.